Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
And got this going. Do I want to hook up this mic? I do not. I'm just going to keep going. Islam, Islam, Islam. We are here. We are here. We are here for 30 minutes more or less. Happy holy day to all Moors and Muslims all over the world, right? I am Sister Tauheedah Najee-Ullah of CalifaMedia.com, mrcicharities.org and com, riseofthemoors.org and com, and certifiedmoorish.org and com. All right. And I am here once again for my weekly strongly presentation on what I got going on and all things Moorish. So, you can get in where you can fit in, do something better or contribute, that kind of thing. So I'm already late, so I'm just going to hop right in. All right. And the usual format, I give you a couple of announcements, right? Pay some bills with a few, business plugs, so to speak. Tell you the news and then give you my insight as far as, how we're supposed to be listening to the radio and watching the newspaper and all that stuff to keep an eye on like how we're supposed to be moving as the corporate United States collapses all around us very quickly day by day, right? So I keep my ear out, right? My eye out. And then I come on here to let y'all know what I got going on so y'all can get in on that, please. And then you can also, know how you can prepare and adjust to the waves that are coming, that kind of thing. So this week, I'm covering Japa bounties. Your people perish from a lack of knowledge. Kimchi canceled. Charlie Kirk murked, aka my butt itches. And the main topic, guard your senses. All right. All of that will make more sense as we go along. All right. So weekly announcements, new book. Califa Media has a new book coming out. It is I don't want to say it's an instruction manual, but I guess it is. It breaks down how the 508c1a incorporation format can be used with a little extra added incentive or advantage of being indigenous to this land. Yes, anybody can use it, but there are certain things you can do just because they're not you, right? They're not from here. Their thing is always tacked at like 33 degrees type of thing. All right. So that new book is a collection of all the questions that came out of the toolkit. There's a 508c1a incorporation toolkit that Moors are using, and now they're starting to return saying, look, I set up my business. Now I'm about to go use that to do some other stuff. Yay. If you've gotten one of these toolkits, please report back so I can brag on you, because I want to make a copper pages, right? Where I'm listing all the Moors that if you don't have to report to these colonial agencies, you might want to work with them because they don't have to report either, and they don't have to be telling your business, which is why I'm doing this. I've collected the questions and comments and suggestions from all the Moors who have been, what are those called? The early adopters. Thank you all. Thank you. I appreciate that. And now it's a book, right? So yeah, that'll be out, and it will only be available at CalifaMedia.com because that's how I want to do it. It'll just be easier for me to do it that way. All right. So that's the new book. New service is Legal Digestion. I have a couple of services on the Califa Media website. I have a good education, right? And I have plenty of experience applying said education, right? And I think I have a good perspective. I grew up Nation of Islam. I never bowed to a white Jesus. Both sides of my family are from Mississippi, and they told me too much. So guess whose side I'm on? All right. So yeah, if you need somebody to help you with just like, okay, what do you think of this? Educated ear, right? I'm thinking about setting up a business like this, faith-based business advising, Because I don't know, I don't deal with the other stuff. It's like I only deal with faith-based because I'm not trying to adjust to otherwise. There's people that specialize in that. This is what I do, that kind of thing. And then there's Legal Digestion, where I am a trained paralegal. I just never went and took the test because then I can't help folks. All right. But I have been using it, not like going in and arguing with people or for people and all that stuff. No, I'm going to help you right up. I'm going to show you how to look up your own stuff, right? I guess it's like a jurisprudence naturopath. Patient heal thyself. So let me show you how to do this, right? And then if you pay attention, you can generalize it and help yourself in case something else comes up. Legal digestion, right? We're going to figure this out. So, yes, I could probably use the business, but I would rather you be independent. So that's there. All right. Next announcement. Moorish Meetup Georgia itinerary is coming. We have the itinerary situated. It's already situated. So instead of going 2 hours to I think it's the Chattahoochee forest and being in the dark and hope the guys don't set us up, I have deferred to the beacon out there, Brother Amir Sharif, right, where we will be instead going to Sweetwater Creek Park. All right. And he wants to he was really like, you could hear when he was talking about it, I'm like, yeah. He said he wants to share this with the Moors. He really wants to experience this with the Moors. It's like, yeah, you sound like you really want to do this with the Moors. So yeah, I'm willing to switch it up. Let's go to Sweetwater Park. Especially, I would much rather go somewhere that's already been vetted. Oh, you went there and you had a good time? Cool. So I don't have to worry about if I'm going to have a good time. All right. And since this is a repeat, it's like a family reunion type of thing, because we will be there around the same time we were last year. It was the middle of November, and it was a blast, a blast. So we will be repeating portions of that. So this time around, we will be, again, meeting up at the library, right? We're still trying to figure out what's the speaking going to be, because I've offered the Beacon, Amir Sharif, like, yeah, we could do a lecture, or for the people that show up, I can show them how to set up a business using you, right? I lived in Georgia for like 3 years. I know how to use their stuff, right? We could just sit up in there and we can set up a business, and then people take notes and see how to, when they leave, they're going to know how to set up a business, and your business will be set up. And it's on a Friday. So it'll actually be a real set up business, actual application, not just theory and talking, that kind of thing. Not knocking theory and talking, but eventually you got to move past that. What can you show me, right? Like I tell my children, I was like, I read my book. Where's the book report? Show me when you're done, because that means you're not done, because you haven't produced anything with that knowledge. All right. And there was one more thing that I wanted to announce, but I cannot remember it. Oh, don't forget tomorrow, Saturday, September 13th, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time. The Moors will be meeting at the Moorish Hall of Learning for film study, and we'll be discussing Cloud Atlas. You are invited. If you need the link, you can go on to Moorish Hall of Learning on Instagram, and the link and all that stuff is up there. Or you can go to certifiedmoorish.org/temple finder, and you can just click the link. It's right there. All right, so that's all the announcements. Okay, so weekly news. Yay, 8 minutes in. All right, that gave people time to get in. Islam, happy holy day, and thank you all who are here right now, who are watching this now, and those who will see this later. All right, I will not keep you long. So, recapping restating the weekly news. Japa bounties. Your people perished from a lack of knowledge. Kimchi canceled. Charlie Kirk murked, aka my butt itches. All right, let's get into it. So first, Japa bounties. Japa, Japa. I think that's how you spell it. If you are not familiar with that term, okay, that is used in reference to tethers. If you are not familiar with that term, tethers are what so-called FBAs. If you are not familiar with that term, FBA means Foundational Black Americans, African Americans, Black, blah, 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 blah. People that change their name every generation. I am not clowning y'all. I'm just saying that's what it is. So they call these people tethers. Tethers are Africans who, you probably been seeing them a lot, especially if you like on YouTube, how these Africans are making like all of their content or relevance is based on their ability to associate themselves with us. See the Essence Fest, right? And now they trying to move, what is it, the Grammys or something? They trying to move the Grammys or something to Nigeria, but they want so-called black people to do it because they know their own people won't support it. They need our energy. That's a tether. I call it a vampire. I call it a leech. They call it a tether. Anyway, Japa, right, is the term used for the tethers that leave their countries. As far as as I've been told, I think I actually looked it up. Japa is a Nigerian term that means, I don't know which tribe. I'm not saying it's all of Nigeria before people start trying to correct stuff. It's from Nigeria, and I think it means like opportunity or freedom. For those who think that's what it means, for those of us who are actually from here, and I'm not talking about the foreigners, I'm talking about the copper-skinned indigenous people, right? That means coward and runner. Japa means a runner, okay? So now check this out. So Japa is a Nigerian word for runner. All right. And now these runners are being snatched up by ICE. They have made the list. Stay tuned. Somebody else, if you're interested, please email me at califamedia@gmail.com to say you're interested. I'm trying to take a poll, test the temperature. I had this bingo card, Ice Bingo. And Amor actually said, when is it coming out? I just put it out as a gag, as a meme. And he actually asked, when is it coming out? And I'm like, hey, I got a cutting machine and a bunch of paper and stickers and all that stuff. I could make it like a real bingo card that we can mark it off when these people start getting caught up, as they get caught up, right? So anyway, on the Ice bingo card this week are Africans, right? No specific nation. As far as being deported, the interesting part, the Japa bounties are being collected. This is why I said it was irony. By the latest groups. How many is it? It's 6 countries in Africa that have agreed to take Africans being deported from the United States. Okay? And they're saying we'll take them as long as they're from the diaspora, right? I'm bringing this up for a reason. This is the guard your senses part. We'll take them as long as they're from the diaspora and they don't have a criminal record. Okay? And so far, the only ones who have been shipped out, because I know how these people who think, yeah, I'm the crabs who like haven't seen so-called Jacob, the Moors. They haven't seen us suffer enough, right? So they waiting like, well, I'm going through some stuff for the last 8 months. You have to be going through something else in addition to the 400 years of suffering that you've already been through, right? So, they're just sitting there like, ha, he's making plans to send y'all back to Africa. He said the diaspora. Too bad that the only people that have been deported so far are 14 people, and from Namibia. I got to look up the country, but they were from Africa. So 14 people actually from the continent of Africa. But they weren't from the 2 countries that have just signed up for this. Because I was tripping. Because I'm like, oh, look, there go Uganda saying that they'll take some people. That's funny. Next day, wow, Ghana saying they taking some people. That's why I said, ha, ha. Here's where you get to laugh at folks saying, ha, ha, we said Java next. Here's the funny part. So first of all, you're willing to take runners from other countries because for some reason their own, why they got to come to your country? Why can't they go back to their own? This is the craziest thing to me. I know why, right? Because your country knows why you went over there. And they're not interested in you bringing that vile and disgusting aura back with you. You're greedy and you're willing to steal and you're willing to cross people, right? So, and they probably sense like, yeah, everybody who touched that land is about to catch hell. And we don't want that over here, right? Why should we get caught up with you? Type of thing. So Ghana or Uganda or Ghana is one of these because they just joined this week. They said, yes, USA, we will accept bounties. We'll house these people as a pass-through to send them back to their own country. So, for instance, we picked up this guy from Nigeria. U.S. ICE picked up the guy from Nigeria. They didn't send him back to Nigeria. They sent him to Ghana. Why can't he go back to Nigeria? You got to wonder about this stuff. And that's why I'm encouraging Moors to start eyeballing these folks. The way they've been looking at us on our own land. Okay? Just look at them. Like, yep. Because I don't know what's going on in my neighborhood, but these Africans are popping up all over the place. And I'm not guessing they're Africans because they think I'm African, which is so funny, right? But I hear them, they try speaking to me in whatever language they speak. I'm like, I'm not from wherever you from. I'm from here. Oh, I'm so sorry, right? Whatever, trying to holler, I guess. But I'm just like, wow, really? That's an indication that I don't like what I'm seeing, right? But I do like what's going on in response. So I just thought it was interesting that Ghana, this is the funny part, Ghana is taking deportees from the United States. But so far, they've only been Africans. And that's interesting because Ghana has had their doors open to the diaspora, us, the so-called diaspora, this whole time, right? And nobody's been making us go over there. In fact, there's people who have gone to Ghana who are now returning because when they get over there, they get charged foreigner prices. Come out, welcome home. All right, cool, right? You're just another person just another group of people trying to exploit us or exploit the fact that we don't know who we are, right? But I am glad to see that these people are like, screw this, I'm going back home and taking everything I brought with me, right? So, yeah. But yeah, you got to wonder why these people can't go straight back to their own countries, but they here. Does that make you feel safe? Next, Kimchi Castle. I don't know if y'all heard about this. This was hilarious. I'm not going to belabor it. I'm just going to read it.
Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that this message may be spread widely to assist in our mission to normalize Moorish.
Kimchi Castle. I don't know if y'all heard about this. This was hilarious. I'm not going to belabor it. I'm just going to read it. Earlier this month, Immigration and Customs Enforcement carried out a raid at Hyundai LG battery factory near Savannah, Georgia. The action began when a local woman, later posting on TikTok, bragged that she had called ICE to report workers she suspected were undocumented. What followed was one of the largest workplace raids in recent history. Nearly 475 people were detained, including more than 300 South Korean nationals who had been sent to the U.S. to help set up the new plant. Because since the United States only shops, they don't build, all the stuff to make the factory had to be made in Korea by Koreans who only speak Korean. So in order for you to build this factory, they got to send some Koreans to translate it for you, right? But let's check out how these cavemen just shot themselves in both feet with double barrels, right? So anyway, they had been sent to the U.S. to help set up the new plant. A handful of other foreign workers from China, Japan, and Indonesia were also caught up in the sweep. ICE claimed the group had violated visa rules, saying some were in the country while under waivers or visas that did not permit them to work. The detainees were shackled at the wrists, ankles, and wrists. They treated them like niggas. And held in crowded conditions. South Korea lodged a strong diplomatic protest and sent a chartered plane to Atlanta to fly its citizens home. Wow, check out how now those are patriots. Okay, everybody else like Nigeria don't want theirs back, right? Like we're getting deported. Okay, if Ghana approves you to leave, and we might think about letting you come home. Get to Ghana, and then we might let you come home to Nigeria. Meanwhile, South Korea said, "Say less. We got a plane on the way." I'm just saying, it's an indication. It's like if their own people don't want nothing to do with them and they're afraid to go home. There's got to be a reason. And that, to me, reasons plural, is why I don't want you here either. Is that unreasonable? For real, right? I get to say so. Y'all get to say something when it's your country. Anyway, so not to get off track. So they were shackled, and South Korea sent a chartered plane to Atlanta to fly its citizens home. Most of the workers have now returned. Though both governments are discussing new visa pathways for highly skilled technical staff. You got to remember, if we sending you over there to translate assembly instructions, these were engineers. These were engineers who could speak fluent English. And look what you did to these. Oh boy. Anyway, Hyundai leadership said the raid will delay construction of the factory by at least 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months is how long their attorneys are looking at. We need that much time to figure out how to get out of this contract. For now, the project has not been canceled, but the fallout has created international tensions and raised new questions about immigration enforcement, foreign investment, and labor rights in the United States. Let's see. They haven't even finished building the factory. And also, already, the contract might be canceled, right? Why? Because a cave Becky down in Georgia called ICE on about 300 South Koreans. What's the big deal? This factory that might not be getting built now was projected to create about 9,000 jobs. Hope it was worth it. And then she went online bragging. All right. So, next. Your people perish for lack of knowledge, not mine. Okay. So, TPS protection for Venezuelans and Haitians. I think I covered this one before. The Trump administration attempted to end temporary protected status, TPS, for over 1.1 million Venezuelan and Haitian immigrants. The plaintiffs argued that the Homeland Security exceeded its authority and acted arbitrarily in doing so. A federal judge in San Francisco, Judge Edward Chin, he probably couldn't have any conflicts in this issue. Judge Edward Chin in San Francisco blocked the government from ending TPS protections, allowing these individuals to remain and work while litigation proceeds. Interestingly, this likely wouldn't be occurring if, this is my part, this wouldn't be occurring if someone would go to Venezuela and someone would go to Haiti, right? And tell those people that while North America, the North American part, you got your own country, Venezuela and Haiti, while that is not necessarily your jurisdiction, because you do have your own established jurisdiction, it is not the colonial occupier's jurisdiction either, right? You, the Haitians and the Venezuelans, who are actual descendants of indigenous Moors, have more right to say who gets to stay on the landmass known as the United States than the colonists do. But who's going to tell them? It has to come from the national level, where the Venezuelans and the Haitians got to say something from Venezuela and Haiti. Yo, we know we the Moors, and we know those are Moors. And in the interest of our brethren Moors, not cousin, nothing like that, brethren Moors, we coming to their aid and kicking y'all out so you can't kick our people out, right? But who's going to tell them? Who's going to tell them? You would think it would be Venezuelans and Haitians, but what are they doing? Instead, they're using that energy to fight to stay here, right? I'm just saying. Your stuff, it's like there's ways out of this. I just look at it, and the reason I know why it would work is because I lived in Arizona. Lots of tribes were pushed out there, okay? A lot of them were already there. What was it, the Yaqui or Odom? I think that's what they were called. It was like two tribes, they had linked up and they were in one community. You look at these people and first thought is Mexican. I'm at your party. There's a piñata, carne asada, guacamole, and y'all speaking Spanish. That what do they call the country Spanish, not the proper stuff. That's what they told me, not the proper Spanish. I'm thinking I'm talking to Mexicans, right? And I'm asking, what part of Mexico you from? Oh, we're from right here. We're tribal. I'm Yaqui. Here go my ID. I'm like, wow, so you're not Mexican? No, but I got family over there. I go over there and see them all the time. Can I see what? You don't have a passport? No, I got my tribal ID. Technically, yes, they are Mexicans, if you think about it, okay? But because they claim to be indigenous, they don't have the problems Mexicans do. But they're Mexicans in culture, language, right? Except they're Mexicans with like how those Mexicans in Mexico call themselves Aztecs. These ones call themselves Yaqui. If you actually turn Aztec into an indigenous thing, that has to be respected. I don't think they're federally recognized either. That's the crazy part. The Yaqui, I don't think they've got some other designation going on. I don't think they're federally recognized. They might be, but it was something weird because they're all they need to get across all the borders of the United States is their tribal ID. I'm just saying. So next, okay, 24 minutes. I'm about to be done. That's again. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Last topic and or bit of news, which leads into my main topic about guarding your senses. All right, Charlie Kirk murked, aka my butt itches. All right, so Charlie Kirk murked. I had no idea who this guy was. He's just all over the news, and I'm like, yup. The fact that you shoving this guy into everybody's face, this is a psyop. Y'all got something else going on. You trying to distract from something. So what else has been going on in the world? What else happened right before this happened to him? Because I don't know who this guy is, right? I asked I added to my butt itches thing because I figured Moors, you might want to know more as much about Charlie Kirk as you do about somebody's itchy booty, right? So that was it. It was like, yeah, that's more interesting. I see that is. It's like, why is your butt itchy? You know, you need some help? I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he was horrible, right? And his last words were violence. That was his last word, was violence. And whoa. So anyway, this assassination happened, and they keep calling it a mass shooting. They keep calling his shooting a mass shooting, not an assassination, which is interesting because the same day that happened, there was a mass shooting at a school. Did you know that? It was in Denver. I forgot the name. It was a weird name, like Evergreen, Colorado or something like that. But yeah, there was a mass shooting. I think 2 children got killed. Same day. Did you hear about that? But sorry, you probably missed it because whoever this Charlie Kirk guy is, he's way more important. I have no idea who this dude is, right? So anyway, his assassination happened right after the release of Trump's birthday letter to Epstein. I don't care. Right? Which happened right before the bombing of Qatar. That part is interesting because now the whole world is about to turn against the United States because supposedly the president of the United States is such a liar. You know, the people we don't know, but the president definitely. And the nation, the state of Israel is just a bucket of lies. You can't believe nothing these people say, right? So United States sets it up where Hamas is going to meet up. Again, I don't care. Hamas, I'm just saying it's beautiful to see how these folks ain't going to have not a single friend left in the world. I love it. So Hamas gets invited by the United States, if I remember correctly, to Qatar, who's a neutral party, to negotiate the release of these final hostages so Israel can get their people back and stop starving the Palestinians who ain't got nothing to do with what Hamas doing. Again, saying we're going after Palestinians because Hamas is saying, I'm going after the United States because of the Democrats. But you're a Republican, right? So anyway, they lured these people there and then bombed the capital city of the neutral nation. I'm not saying they're neutral in general, but in this situation, they're neutral ground so we can get some negotiations going. And you bombed their capital city and killed the people that were supposed to be negotiating. And then the United States called Qatar 10 minutes after the fact and said, we had no idea. Israel turns around and they said, go for it. So who you gonna believe? I believe both of y'all. How about that, right? So now, here come India, China, and Russia to out. Y'all need something. You want to come sit at our table? Isn't that a prophecy? And I'm about to bring out the prophecies too. I need to put that video out. So yeah, why are they doing all this, right? And did you know? I'm like, that's interesting. So they bombed Qatar, right? Yeah. In addition to, so Qatar, Palestine, because they've been bombing Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and Tunisia. Wait, so Qatar, Lebanon, Syria, Tunisia, Palestine, and there was one more they bombed. Who was it? It was one more. Yemen. All within 72 hours. The beast is raging. Why are you doing this? You bombing all these people. Why are you doing this, right? You only act this, rabid dogs act like this right before you got to put them down. Or right before they just destroy themselves, right? And my thing is, I don't understand why you're doing this to these people other than the fact that you want to get their land and what's under their feet. Here's the commentary part about guard your senses. I get that. You are a greedy scumbag colonist who that's all you ever want. You never want to make deals. You just want to steal, right? So you got to get rid of these people. I get that. But why the overkill? Why are you going to so many extremes? What has happened since? So 9/11 was Thursday. So what's happened this week since Monday? Right? So Israel bombed Qatar, another nation that was trying to help settle a peace thing. But they killed all the people that were supposed to be helping with the peace thing. And now Israel is all up in arms. They protesting against the government about you trying to keep this war going. Meanwhile, while the Israel is being protested against, they're attacking, in addition to Qatar and Palestine, attacking 4 other countries at the same time within 3 days. Then Epstein letter gets released. That ain't my signature. And then who was it? I don't know if you know who Lawrence O'Donnell is. He's like a big deal reporter. He's like, hey, I got this letter from Trump the same year he wrote this letter to Epstein. You want to compare the signatures? He has his own. He's like, he comes on right after Rachel Maddow. He's right after her on the same channel. That's how big he is. Rachel Maddow is his opener. That's how big he is. He's like, hey, you need to prove this is the right signature. Why do I care? What are you trying to get my attention away from? Why are you trying to get my attention? You're not trying to get everybody else's attention because they all trying to figure out how not to get sent home. So whose attention are you trying to get and why, right? Guard your senses, Moors, please. You know this is about us, right? I'm going to be bigoted and prejudiced because, even the Bible says the only ones that matter are the Israelites. And the Israelites, Jacob, Israel, Moors. Okay? All right. So anyway, the rest of y'all, as far as the book that y'all went around the world shoving down everybody's throat, colonists, it says in relation to the Israelites, the rest of you are as spittle. Not my words. Okay? So my thing is, it's not everybody else's attention you need. It's our attention that you need, especially in these days and times when Moors are wondering, what's that big old rock hurtling straight towards Earth, changing colors, changing course, changing speed. It's not acting like a comet. Could it be because it's not a comet? I'm just like, you know what? Hey, I got this child in my house named Risk. His name is Risk. R-I-Z-Q. Yeah. If y'all know what that means, why you think I did that? And I think, just a suggestion, I'm going to end with this. Moors, maybe this is another Passover. You might want to paint your threshold. I'm just saying. Paint your threshold. Okay? And with that, I'm good. Make your meetings. I'm going to make mine. All right. Islam Moors, if you got any questions, comments, suggestions, send them to me at califamedia@gmail.com or editor@califamedia.com or go to califamedia.com and click contact us. And with that, that's all I got. I will see y'all Tuesday. And stay tuned because I'm trying to put out, since AI is out there, I'm going to try to put out the Hadith and prophecies. There we go. So there, when you find one, you can be like, oh, let me go snatch that and just, you can remix it. And you'll have it always ready because I got a feeling that a whole bunch of prophecies about to manifest in front of our eyes. And we need to keep each other informed about that stuff. So instead of hunting down, I need an asset to go with this. There you go. All right. And of course, that'll be on Califa Media's YouTube page. And with that, I'm done. All right. Peace and love, Moors. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see y'all next time. Tuesday chamber chats. I forgot to mention that. Tuesday chamber chats. This Tuesday coming up, the topic is reputation. Why it is worth the trouble of establishing a reputation. So that then when people try to badmouth you behind your back, it's already done. I don't have to say it. I let them brag. Not me. I'm just letting you know why reputation is so important. So be there Tuesday, 6 p.m., wherever you're watching it. Islam, peace and love. I'll check y'all later. Bye-bye, y'all. Yay.